Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Watson. I'm going to give you the vocabulary for Chapter 10. Chapter 10, we are talking about a lot concerning circles and arcs and their parts and everything that we can think of. So we have a lot of vocabulary. So the first thing I'm going to draw is this nice circle over here. So here is my circle. Okay, the first word we're going to write down is arc. And I'm telling you, draw the circle. Okay, and an arc is a part of the circle. Okay, and so what we have right here, I'm going to draw the center of the circle. And right here, do you see where the endpoints connect? We have A and we have B. The arc is the part I'm outlining in red. This is the arc. Okay, so I'm going to underline in that red, that's AB. It's a part of the circle. We call AB a minor arc, and the reason we call it a minor arc is because it is just a part of the circle. Okay, and the rest of the arc is called the major arc. Okay, so I'm going to put another point on the circle. I'm going to call it C. And there we go. If you notice the notation about how I wrote that arc, if you notice there is a nice curvy thing over that, and the minor arc only has 2 letters. A major arc is everything else. I'm going to do that in a different color. Let's choose orange for today. This is the major arc. We need to go in alphabetical order. And we need to either name it A, C, B, or not in alphabetical order, in order. It needs to be either A, C, B, or B, C, A. It can't be A, B, C, because look what happens here. We would go over the minor arc. So the major arc is A, C, B. Again, put that Q, that little curly thing over it. That's called the major arc. Okay? We talked a little bit about arcs and how to find arc length, but we're going to talk about it more in depth today, okay? So if we want to find the arc length, it's just a part of the circle. So I'm just going to do this here. We can find the measure of the arc, like the inside of the angle, by the central angle right in the middle, and it's a central angle here because it's in the center. Okay, we can find the rest of it by doing 360 minus pi if we needed to. But let's say we want to find arc length. Okay, remember that if we want to find the length, that's called circumference. And so we use this, the length of an arc. So it's the part of the circle. We use theta over 360. So it's the angle measure over 360 times 2 times pi times r. Okay, so remember R is just going to be these little parts right here of that, okay, of the arc. Okay, so we're still using stuff about circles, but now it's like we're trying to find the part of the circle, and we're trying to find the piece of the pie, okay? We will always be given the major arc, the minor arc value. You will always know this right here. If I wanted to find the major arc, to calculate the major arc, I would do 360 minus theta. So let's say that this measure right here was 30 degrees, and that's the minor arc. Then I could find out what the major arc was by doing 360 minus 30, and its measure would be 330 degrees. Do you see how we're doing that there? Always given the major or the minor arc, we can calculate the major arc. Okay, so that's just some stuff that we know right now about this one. But let's talk about another part of this. Okay, so I'm going to draw another nice big circle here. And this is a chord. This is called chord AB. Notice it does not go through the center. So the chord is a line segment. That looks very messy. So it's a line segment. that has both endpoints, which are A and B, up there, on the circle. If by chance it does go through the center, it's called the diameter. So if it passes, it normally doesn't, but it may. If it does pass through the center, so passes through center, it's called the diameter. But normally it doesn't. The main thing you need to remember is that the endpoints are on the circle. So this is what it would look like if it was the diameter. Let's draw this one right here. See how it's going through the center? So that's what it looks like, CD. That's a chord, okay? We call this right here, this chord, AB, with a line over it. Notice that with the arc, we had the curve over it, but this is called a chord, so it has a line over it. It's a line segment. It's very important you remember that, okay? The next thing I want to talk about, the central angle. I briefly just touched on that, but a central angle means that it has a center. The vertex is at the center. So if this was center P, and this is B, and this is A. Okay, so a central angle the vertex is the center of the circle. Okay, so it's the center of the circle. It's the central angle. Okay, right here we got this angle. We would call this angle APB. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about are intercepted angles, or excuse me, intercepted arcs and inscribed angles. This is a little challenging, and I will definitely go over this in class when we get to it, but I just want you to have it in your notes. First off, I'm going to draw a circle. Notice lots of circles, okay? So I'm going to do the circle with center D, and I'm going to make this A and this C, okay? This part right here that I'm going to be outlining in red is called the intercepted arc, okay? It's called the intercepted arc. And the endpoints of the arc are on each side of the central angle. Okay? Let me rewrite this down here so you can see this better. Endpoints are on each side of the central angle. Okay? Now, we also have the inscribed angle. Okay, so I'm going to draw one more thing here. I'm going to put it back here. Okay, ABC, which I am going to outline in purple. That's called the inscribed angle. Okay, so we had the intercepted arc and the inscribed angle. The vertex is on the circle. So see how B is the vertex? It's on the circle and has 2 chords. If you notice the chords that we have here, we have AB and we have BC. Okay? These have so many different properties, and we're going to talk about them. But right now, let's talk about just the vocabulary of what everything means. So far, I've talked about arcs, minor arcs, major arcs, arc lengths, chord, central angles, intercepted arcs, and inscribed angles. Write all this stuff down. If you can color code it, that would be really helpful. I have colored pencils. Just let me know. Thank you.